It's Saturday, May 7th, 2016, and we are at Toledo Train Day in Toledo, Ohio. This event is put on every year at the Toledo Amtrak station and includes various displays from Norfolk Southern, Amtrak, and other railroads. At this year's display, there was a pair of heritage units as well as the NS 911. Join us as we take in the sights and sounds from Toledo Train Day 2016. We start our day with the westbound Norfolk Southern freight train led by a pair of EMD locomotives. The noticeable crowd watches as the train rolls by. After the freight train cleared, we took our first look at the Norfolk Southern 911, the honoring our first responders unit. NS 911 is a rebuilt SD60E locomotive that in 2015 was painted into this special scheme. It pays homage to firefighters, police officers, EMS workers, and all other first responders, both active, retired, and passed on. The locomotive really shines, and did so especially in a nighttime photo shoot put on the night before the event. The traditional Norfolk Southern black and white is traded in for red, white, and orange. In addition to the colors, a fire department shield, police shield, and the EMS Star of Life appear on the flank of the unit. This locomotive is a classy way to pay tribute to all first responders. During the day, we caught up with Norfolk Southern engineer Steve Rathy. Steve Rathy is a longtime volunteer at Toledo Train Day who works to bring displays to the event. He explained what it takes to put on this event, as well as why it's important to him.
Steve Rathy, I've been a locomotive engineer for just under 23 years. Grew up loving trains ever since I was a young child. Started off with Conrail, 1994, and I'm one of the few people when they hired out, you always hire as a trainman per the UTU agreement, and I hired out just like anyone else, hired out as a trainman, but I never worked as a conductor or a trainman. I went straight to engine school, but the difficult part was I had to learn everything at the same time. Most guys now, they're a conductor for 10 years, so they have the benefit of being out there for a decade, but I love it.
How did you get involved with this Toledo Train Day event?
I was initially brought on as an Operation Lifesaver presenter. They wanted to have a children's program, and the first year I did that and I saw the display with the trackside display, and I thought, with my connections, I could make this a lot better. And so I initially started to try to get equipment that I thought was interesting, that rail fans would find interesting, but also with the general public, because rail fans make up a very small percentage of the attendees for Train Day. We have roughly between 8,000 and 10,000 people. Of that, maybe 5 to 10% are rail fans. So you have to make it interesting for everyone.
How do you select displays, and why did you pick the NS 911 this year?
The 911 was sort of special for me because of the deaths of the two firemen just under 2 years ago. Officers Machinsky and Dickman. They were killed in a house fire in Magnolia, and I lost two railroad two co-workers of mine back in '99, and I know what that felt like. I saw these two gentlemen an hour and a half before they died. I talked to them in the depot, said goodbye, I went home and went to bed, and just under 2 hours later they died. So I know what it does to the co-workers, to the workforce, and I thought that bringing in the 911 was a great way for those people to pay a different tribute to the fallen firefighters, and as well as all the firefighters, policemen, EMTs who serve Toledo.
How did you select the other displays for this year?
The Ann Arbor engine, they've been involved now. This is their second year, and I thought they would really be a great add to this year's event because they bought the Raceway Park facility. They're going to use that as a staging area for vehicles. They're a very big part of Toledo's rail infrastructure. And the fact that they painted the GP38 back into the original orange colors, it was a no-brainer.
Why do you think this event is important, and what is the most rewarding part about holding this event?
For me, I think the most rewarding part is getting the equipment in, which is a lot of work, it took just about 5 months of work to get the 911 in. Watching people come down and seeing their faces, little kids, even adults, the big kids, it's very, very rewarding after all the hard work is done, the equipment's been spotted up in place, to see the guests, to see the visitors come in, take the pictures, want their picture taken with me or someone else or their family. That really does it for me.
And what is your favorite part about being an engineer and working for Norfolk Southern?
You know, there's something about, and unless you're an engineer or you've had the opportunity to be in a locomotive at high speed, you have the window open, you have the wind running through your hair, blowing that whistle, waving to people, waving to cars, and people don't wave at buses, they don't wave at trucks, but when I go by a railroad crossing, I bet you 40% of the time, someone waves. And they're mostly adults. People still wave at trains. I really find it, I dig that. So, to live my childhood dream on the tracks that I grew up rail fanning with my dad, it's really a dream come true.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about the Toledo Train Day event or railroading in general?
Toledo Train Day, as you probably know, is all volunteer, and we raise all of our own funds. I'm very proud that we can do something like this on our own. The cities like Chicago and St. Louis and Washington now, they're losing their train day because they weren't self-sufficient. We are, and it's because of a lot of hard work, and I'm very proud of that.
All right, well, thank you very much, Steve. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Ryan. Great to be here.
Later in the day, Steve was at the helm of the NS 911 to notch up the unit and give a horn show. This was a real treat for those recording. So how did you get what you want from your conversation?
I didn't expect that. It's not like I needed help. I just wanted to talk to him in general.
After the show, another westbound rolled by with a solo GE leading. This crew took notice of the crowd and gave a horn show, including a shave and a haircut. The next locomotive on display was the Ann Arbor Railroad's WAMX 3879. This unit was recently repainted into its Ann Arbor Railroad orange with its Michigan in the Fog logo. The 3879 was purchased by the Ann Arbor Railroad in 1986 from Conrail as AA 7802 and was painted into a similar scheme. The Ann Arbor Railroad was purchased by Watco in 2013, and in 2015 the 3879 was repainted. The 3879 arrived to Toledo Train Day freshly cleaned and grabbed plenty of attention during the day. Amtrak brought their Phase 1 Heritage Unit Amtrak 156, as well as the Mini Lakeshore Limited set of cars. The 156 was also a subject at the night photo shoot, where it too shined. Here we are walking through the Amtrak display, which consisted of a Viewliner sleeping car, an Amfleet 2 coach, an Amfleet Diner lounge, and a new Viewliner 2 baggage car. First, we walked through the Amfleet coach, then the Amfleet Diner, and finally we took a look at the brand new Viewliner baggage car. After we have taken our time to view all of the displays, we stepped back to the bridge for another westbound freight. Toledo Train Day was started in 2011 as a supplement to National Train Day, which was held by Amtrak. The display has grown in recent years and has always drawn a crowd. As engineer Steve stated previously, the event is put on by volunteers. Volunteers, much like Steve, make this yearly event possible and deserve as much recognition as can be given. After the festivities had completed, the 156 was moved and switched tracks to be staged for a morning departure west. The 156 was painted into a Phase 1 Heritage scheme in 2011 as part of Amtrak's 40th anniversary campaign. As the day wound down, the equipment was moved and staged to be put back into regular service. We already watched the Amtrak 156 moves, and now all that was left was the WAMX 3879 and the NS 911. As these units were pulled away while a crowd watched, Engineer Steve got to wave one more time. After clearing the yard lead, NS 911 and WAMX 3879 were shoved onto track 14, where they would await to be put back into service. With this, our Toledo Train Day experience was complete. A special thanks goes out to Steve Rathy for the assistance as well as the interview. Also, thank you to all of the volunteers who made Toledo Train Day 2016 possible. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, do not forget to subscribe for future quality content just like this.